Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining my session on the marketing. This is the last of the marketing session, and we'll be discussing the assignment. Okay, and my name is Zafar Iqbal, and today is Saturday, 1st of July 2023, and we will discuss the assignment. Okay, it's marketing assignment. There are three parts to the assignment. Okay, there are three parts to the assignment, and we'll be discussing all of them three today. Okay, you'll have time to work through them and send them as soon as you finish them, please, because there's a deadline. We've got to mark it and we've got to IV it. So hopefully by the end of the session, if you have any questions, let me know. So what we'll be covering today is three parts of this assignment. It's a big assignment, and you need to devote your good time to do this particular assignment. Okay. So what we've done over the weeks is to look at the marketing, and we've seen how marketing is an important department in an organization, and how it carries the organization through difficult times. Okay, so the first part of the assignment is you will be asked to submit this in a form of 15 minutes webinar. Okay, you've got to deliver and record it using your software, supporting software. You can use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and it's got to be submitted in a recording on MP3 or another suitable format, together with the accounting or with the accompanying transcript. And it should be submitted as a word process document using a 1.5 spacing and appropriate titles and labeled. You should be able to submit this as soon as you finish, and or alternatively you can submit it and can be completed as a face-to-face seminar or a presentation that can be recorded using a video. Okay, I'm conscious of the fact that you should use it as a Harvard system of referencing. Okay, you should make sure that your assignment has a title, and it's got a table, and it's a criterion reference to make sure that all the learning outcomes and the learning assessment criteria is labeled and is put in a particular table. There's some kind of an introduction, there's some kind of titles, and all the assessment criteria should be labeled and page numbered. Okay, so you're asked to follow the Harvard system of referencing. If you have not got the referencing handouts, please look on the Moodle. There's a lot of materials on the Harvard system of referencing, but at this level, you're expected to draw up a list of references according to the Harvard system of referencing. Wikipedia and Googles are fine for the source of information, but they're not credible source of academic literature. So your really rule of thumb is that you need to apply the Harvard referencing, okay, and make sure that you get the document on the Moodle, because you'll need it for the future study, you'll need it for the future benefit, and it's important that you should get to know this referencing. Okay, for example, if you're quoting a website reference, it should be inserted the author date and the date and the name of the reference of the document and so on. Okay, so according to the Harvard system references. Okay, you're also I want you to make sure that you submit your work. Okay, complete work that's your own. Try and make sure that it doesn't colludes with the other students. By collusion, I mean, copying and pasting of other people's work, and they are not identical to each other. Okay, so make sure that you avoid this collusion of work. Please submit the work as your own. Plagiarism is a serious academic offense, and it should be avoided at all costs. Okay. Also, plagiarism is very serious because it's conducted as an academic misconduct, and you're asked to refer to the academic misconduct policy, which is available on Moodle, if you're not sure what we mean by plagiarism. Okay, you can use textbooks, you can use websites, you can use articles, you can use any other sources that you are quoting from, but make sure that they follow the rule of plagiarism, please. Okay, you're also asked to register on HN Global because you need to get some resources. There are different reading lists. There are different resources that you can get from the HN Global, and you're asked to register and log in and make sure that you use the global HN Global login and get the resources from there. Okay. Okay, so this was just general comments. So now let's start with the first assignment, and I want to start with the first LO1, okay, which is to do with your explanation or explain the role of marketing and how it interrelates with other business units of an organization. Okay, so you look at the scenario, you look at the case, and you are asked to prepare a kind of webinar. Okay. Sorry, one further thing is when you are when you are writing a kind of an article, or when you submit assignment, make sure that you submit your written work word processed, okay, 1.5 spacing, and with appropriate titles and labels, and make sure it's using Arial size 12. Okay, so that's quite important. So all the documents got to be in Arial size 12. Okay, 1.5 spacing, appropriately titled, labeled. Okay, make sure that you follow this, please. Thank you. Okay, so we're going back to the case. Okay, so the case is about looking at the oldie, for example. Your case is on LO1. So for the first one, for the first part of the assignment, you are asked to prepare a kind of a webinar. Okay, so your webinar should be on a marketer or marketing assignment. So the first one is here, if you read the scenario with the history dating back to 30 years, Aldi has opened its first store in Netherlands, and it's got a lot of employees, a lot of products. Okay, it has moved over from the date of inception to now. It's employing 4,000. It's employing a lot of people, and it's got 4,200 superstores across Europe. So you're asked to, as a particular person, as a particular junior marketing analyst, you're asked to look at, you're asked to look at the marketing assignment from the viewpoint of your role as a marketing assistant, and you've got to prepare some kind of a presentation or webinar. You are asked to you're asked to go to a national radio station, and they've invited you to be a part of their webinar panel. So you're going to prepare a presentation to attract this younger audience for marketing assignments, okay, or a career in marketing. So therefore, you have been given a 15-minute slot and been asked to discuss and analyze the concept and role of marketing in the 21st century. You're asked to you're asked to discuss the roles and responsibilities in the marketing department and the competencies that are required to succeed. And it also you're asked to look at the marketing function and how it interrelates with other departments of the market, of the supermarket, and how it works together with the other departments in the context of its vision and mission and objectives and purpose. Okay, so you're there as a person representing the company, and you've been asked to prepare and speak out about the role of the marketing department, and provide a critical reflection and insight into the external factors onto influencing your role as well. So the radio station, they've asked you to send or pre-record the webinar presentation using a suitable appropriate format on an MP3, for example, and provide them with a full transcript. So therefore, you should do that and submit the accompanying transcript of the webinar. Okay, so this is your learning outcome. So let's go through it, how you will present it. Basically, you're making a PowerPoint presentation and writing a transcript, right? Writing a transcript, and it should be presented as a webinar. Okay, 15 minutes with a transcript. Okay, so the first learning outcome is the explaining the role of marketing and how it interrelates with other business units of the organization. There are two criteria, P1 and P2. The P1 is explain the concepts of marketing and marketing operation, including the different areas and roles of the marketing. And P2 is explain how the marketing function relates to the wider organizational context. You can claim a merit, you can claim an M1 if you analyze the role of marketing in the context of the marketing environment. And there's another merit available on it when you analyze the significance of the interrelationship between marketing and other departmental functions of this. There's also a distinction with this LO1. So if you are aiming for a distinction, then you are asked to critically analyze the external and internal environment in which the marketing function operates. So there's a variety of grading that you can expect from LO1. Okay, so you can claim a pass by just completing P1 and P2. That will give you a pass, but I expect you to go for merit and a distinction, please. Okay, because you have to stretch yourself, and hopefully you can get a good grade by doing this first assignment. Okay, so the first, okay, so the general assignment is, the general assessment advice is you should consult the grading criteria, you should look at the outcome, you should look at how the criteria meets your various tasks. You should present your work in English. It must be word processed, okay, and it's got to be show clarity of presentation. You should really work to demonstrate with the length and breadth of the references, to refer to appropriate references using Harvard style references, as I told you earlier on. Okay, there is no count limit on the first part of the assignment, word count limit, but you're asked to prepare a presentation or webinar for 15 minutes, and then you are asked to prepare a transcript with it. So with the references, with the quotations, with the extra information that's been asked, and it should not collude with other students' work. Okay, you're asked to look at your work and make sure that it's your work, it's confidential and with full of anonymity, and it's must be make sure that it doesn't identify other parts, other organization, other students or colleagues, and then you can submit separate documents of your work. But if you want to remove the names of organizations or people, then you should do that. Okay, otherwise it will breach the confidentiality. Okay, so how I would how I would approach this assignment is, first of all, I'm just going to show you although I'm not prepared the presentation, but you should write an introduction, for example, when you are preparing the assignment. Okay, you should prepare an assignment, write some kind of introduction. For example, introduction, this assignment is based over ATHE, which opened its store in Netherlands and with 15 employees. So you get the scenario from the from the scenario itself. You write the introduction yourself and put it into your PowerPoint, okay, and explain where the ATHE has come from and where it's gone on to, and how it's expanded over the year, what its total superstores are, what how much increased in Europe and other parts of the world, and how much it's worth. Okay, so you just explain basically how many employees, and so you give us a little bit of introduction about the organization. Then you explain a little bit here, and this, you explain here the report focuses on the marketing essentials in the business organization, and you go on to explain what you're going to do, and how many what sections are you including in the first part of your assignment. Okay, so, and then you explain and you prepare your assignment accordingly by preparation, your PowerPoints, and make sure that you highlight the points. So I've done this in a written format, just writing, but you must prepare in a PowerPoint. Basically, the idea is I've written it for you to look at what you're expected to perform. So LO1, explain the role of marketing and how it interrelates with other departments or of the organization. So you explain something about the marketing function. You define the marketing function, maybe slide 1 or 2, and what it does. The marketing department, it does, say, promotes business organization, marketing research, it prepares per marketing plan development, so on. So you explain what the marketing department does, okay, and what's the responsibilities of the marketing department, how does it grow, okay, and so you explain this a little bit. Then, okay, then you explain a little bit about the roles and responsibilities, what type of people are there, what type of jobs they do, maybe, what's their function, what's their role, and what's particularly maybe your role and how it interrelates with other marketing departments. So then you can give it a kind of a diagram, for example, how the marketing function relates. What is the marketing function? You can, so this diagram may show you the function of marketing. Okay, you can prepare it another way, how it relates, on department and horizontal function, or you can departmental structure. You can show that, and okay, so you can show it variously. This one here, I just basically picked it up, and then I just said the functions of the marketing department itself. So the marketing function can be buying, it can be selling, it can be transporting, storing, standardizing, financing, risk-taking, market information, and so on. So that might be you can put that as a diagram, okay, and then you can explain some kind of interrelationship between the marketing function and other organizational functions, and explain, okay, what does the other functions do, how do they cooperate, how do they coordinate, how do they interrelate. So, for example, the marketing department, marketing team works with other, other departments, and looks at them, coordinates activities, and cooperates with them on different aspects of communication and consultation, and so you explain that marketing function, okay. How does it interrelate with the production department, how it interrelate with the finance department, how it interrelates with the HR department, for example, okay. So you explain that, okay. So here I have explained that little bit. For example, the marketing function is to increase its profitability of the organization. It relates with the finance department by providing appropriate budget of the marketing department, and it relates with human resources department by generating market trends, for example, and looks at the sales and target customers and these kind of things, and then you references accordingly. Okay, so that kind of things you can explain. Okay, right. The second part, and how does it interrelate with the marketing functions, with other functions as well? You can look at the marketing function from from other departments like research departments. So how does the marketing function interact with the research department, for example? You can, you prepare a slide on that. For example, market research plays a crucial role, and it's considered as a most important marketing function, so that so the company can stay successful in the market research, or does the business, and it helps the organization to research different departments or different products. For example, it finds research into different areas of research, and different research into, for example, looking at people behavior, for example. So or it does market research, for example, prepares surveys and prepares questionnaires. The marketing function does a lot of research, right? It collects data and it analyzes and it highlights data and gives to the company, so that the company can look at it and act upon the research that the marketing department has collected. Okay, so this can be a very important marketing function. Another function of the marketing department is preparing a strategy, for example, from the research, looking at the vision, looking at the mission of the organization, the marketing function looks at the objectives of the marketing department and the departments of others as well, and it collects information and data from research, and it processes according to its strengths and weaknesses, and prepares other business options. So strategy, it helps in preparing kind of strategy, processes data, okay, to make data idea for strategies and utilized by the organization. So these strategies are built very realistic according to the research and according to the data collected. So this departmental function is very important, and it, marketing department works with the other departments in the in preparing a strategic objectives and vision and mission, and prepares the marketing plan to further the organization and its activities. Okay. Third one, for example, planning. Yes, of course, the marketing function is involved in the financial planning. It involves forecasting of sales. It's involved in the distribution, and it's involved in the communication and its other factions of the organization. The planning department is very important. Prepares timelines for all the activities, prepares a timeline for strategies for converting organization goals into success, and it works according to the strategy, and it feeds into the what you call them, into the vision and mission and objectives of the organization. So this is very important. So you can prepare a slide on this. Okay, because it interrelates with other functional, the marketing function interrelates with other functional departments in the sense that it plans, it looks at strategy, it prepares research materials, and it, tactically, it works with the other departments to attract target customers. For example, it prepares marketing tactics. Okay, this department interrelates with the other department in the sense that the marketing department is involved in preparing offers, for example, to provide promotional boost in the marketing plan. So such as buy one, get one free offer, for example, or discounts or promotion, or to attract new customers. And it creates a lot of pressure on the competitors to preparing strategies. So different pricing tactics and different promotional tactics and different advertising tactics. So all these activities are prepared from the marketing department, and with the cooperation, with the interrelationships with the other functional units, and therefore you're expected as a marketing assistant to prepare, highlight the functions of the marketing, and so that the newcomers are attracted to the marketing career in that sense. So therefore, your webinar, your presentation should highlight all these areas and how the marketing functions closely linked with the other functions of the organization. And you can prepare, or you should prepare, a transcript to explain with examples how you worked with your finance department, and how did you cooperate with the other department. So for example, you although you're not line managing the other department, or the other department's line not managing your, but you are cooperating on the sense of staff relationship. Okay, so therefore, you're all at equal par and work cooperatively and coordinatively with the other departments. So provide hand in hand to succeed the company, and to make sure that the company gets its objectives and it's successful in the longer run. So you work together. Okay, you work with the human resources department in the sense that the human resources helps your marketing department to attract new customers or new employees into the organization. So therefore, you interact, because they prepare policy, HR, you work with them, they prepare recruitment, they prepare selection, interviewing, HR policies, and so many other things, records, personal records, and so on and so forth. So you are working with hand in hand with the other departmental functions, with HR, for example, and then you work with them. So the marketing department is very important, because you interrelate with the other. So your role as a marketing assistant is to highlight all these functional areas. Okay, so that was the L01. Okay, and I'm sure that you've got this. If you have any question about this, please make sure that you drop me a question. Okay, so I'll try and hopefully answer this as best as I can. Make sure that you are referencing your work, particularly referencing and highlighting, and make sure that you are using the Harvard style of referencing, building up a bibliography. Okay, and that's the L01. Make sure that you look at the scenario and prepare your answer according to scenario, rather than producing a generic answer. Okay, if you're preparing a generic answer, that will not get you higher marks, rather than preparing a specifically tailor-made answer, so you answer directly what the question is asking from you to do. Okay, so so that was just on L01. Okay, now let's go on to the L02. L02, your second part of the assignment, or the second assignment, is based on L02 and L03. Okay, now here L02 wants you to prepare a marketing mix. Okay, so the L02, it asks you to prepare, compare ways in which organizations use elements of marketing mix to achieve overall business objectives. So you can prepare elements of the marketing mix, which is the 4 elements of marketing mix, and you can use, if you want to extend into the 7 Ps, that's also a part of the marketing mix. So you compare 2 organizations, for example, looking at different organizations and how they use the marketing mix to achieve their overall objectives. So in this particular L02, what you explain, first of all, again, you introduce the what is marketing mix and what is marketing. You explain, what is the significance of the marketing as a function. Okay, you and introduce that, and you introduce what is the significance of the marketing, what is marketing, explain with the references and what does it do. Then you explain why the marketing, what is marketing, for example, and how it's important for the organization, what type of elements does it have. So the marketing mix, you can explain that. Okay, yes, for example, marketing mix is one of the basic and important parts of marketing plan, and it includes different elements like price, promotion, product, price, promotion, place, right? So these are the basic contents of the 4 Ps. Then you explain, another 3 elements, which is extended, in other words, which is the extended marketing mix. Okay, so it's a shift from 4 Ps to 7 Ps, in other words. And why is it, why is it gone from 4 Ps to 7 Ps as an extended marketing mix? So you explain, marketing has gone from 4 Ps into 7 Ps because of different behavior of people, for example, or extension of processes, or extension of physical evidence. In other words, the things have moved on, the things have, the things have changed over the years, right? So that's why it's been introduced into 3 more elements, into 7 marketing mix. So the product 4 Ps of the product: price, promotion, and place is, for example, what is the product? You explain what's the significance of the product. Sorry, what the significance of the product is, and you explain it's a physical good, or it's a physical in nature, and it's a tangible nature rather than it's a service product. Okay, so you explain what the product or a difference between a product and a service is, and how it benefits the organization, how it looks at the target markets, and what is it, tangible or intangible, the categories, give examples of different products, different different types of products. Then you explain something about the price. What do you mean by price? It's a kind of a notional element, right? The price is, kind of a cost of the product plus some kind of a profit, and plus some kind of profit equals to total cost, and then you charge this to the customer. So a price is a kind of a notional figure that's attached to the product, right? So it attaches a value, right, by adding different types of costs and cost element and so on. So this is what the price is. Okay, and it's so that a customer pays that particular price when you are talking about the price explaining. Then you explain the 3rd element, which is a place, i.e. where is the product available from, which kind of distribution channels you are using, the intermediaries, and where are the the products sold, what are the locations, and how it's available. So this is the place, explains that. And promotion is the way you're going to advertise, or the way the people going to know what the product looks like, what it can do, what it can't do. The promotion, i.e. advertising and promotion, and all these activities is to advertise the product, so the public, the customers, so the target market can be aware of this particular product and it's available. So you can explain these elements as into your LO, which is this LO2, compare the ways in which organizations use element. So one organization, for example, Aldi, how does they use the 4 Ps, and how Tesco's, for example, uses a 4 Ps elements of marketing. So you can compare these 2 elements and see who's doing better, who's doing worse, for example, or then you're explaining the extended the 3 Ps, which is the people, processes, and physical evidence. By people, we mean the human factors that are involved in directly or indirectly in the whole process, from manufacturing of products to its sales, and to its finished goods, to the delivery, and to the consumption, or to the sales of the particular product. It's important that these marketing mix tools are used, and they are taken into account when we are talking about the people, because these people are all involved in the whole marketing mix, and from the very inception to the very end, and assisting the people is very important, human resources, in other words. Okay, so these are quite important, because they're all involved in from the day one to the end of the selling point and so on. So the people are very important, and if they are not there, people are not there, then you can't sell the product. So it's important that they are considered. The processes, you explain about the processes. These are all the activities and practices that go on to produce goods and services, and until they come onto the market. And these are the tools, these are the people, these are the processes that keep the flow of these activities until the last minute of the goods, and the best give the results and the profits to the organization. So this has got to be taken into account as an extended marketing element. And the physical evidence is the material part associated with the product itself. So this is an evidence of the presence and existence of the product in the market, the associated materials. It can be with the logos, or it can be signs and the packaging, or all this make the customer rely on them. So the physical evidence there, it's related to the places as well. Okay, so it's all the concept, the marketing sense. So you need to explain all this 4 P's and then extend it into 7 P's. So you explain that, and then compare these 7 P's, okay, with another organization. So you can have an Aldi or Tesco or EE, for example, and then Apple. I have given here an example of EE and Apple. Okay, so you can, on the one hand, you can have a product, price, place, promotion, then the people, then the process, then the physical evidence. So you can prepare a table, for example, and see what these two companies do better, how do they do it, and how do they compare, and you can put that and maybe draw some kind of a conclusion. How did they use the marketing mix to compare, okay, to compare their organization, and how did they use to achieve how did they use 7 P's to achieve the overall objectives. So the overall objectives can be marketing expansion, or the profit, or foot in the marketing door, or survival, or whatever their objectives are. So it depends on the mission and vision of the objective. So you look at the mission and strategy and objectives, and so you should compare these marketing mix. So that will complete your LO2. Okay, so you can put that into the context. Okay, then of course you can look at the overall view of the marketing planning. Okay, because it's very important that every plan needs a systematic approach to be followed. So the marketing plan is a plan that you prepare, because these are the steps that you need to follow in order to come up with a greater marketing plan. What you're going to do, what kind of activities you're going to do, and what kind of steps you're going to prepare in order to do your marketing activities. So then you can go on to look at the marketing plan. Okay, so here you can explain a little bit marketing plan, how the marketing mix helps you to prepare a marketing plan. Okay, so you can explain that, how it works with analysis and planning and implementation and preparing strategy and control. Okay, and you prepare different marketing strategies. So these 4 P's and 7 P's will contribute to preparing different marketing strategies, and you write some kind of a conclusion, of course built up with the references, Harvard style referencing, and making sure that you prepare a word process document with that. Okay, and it should give you a 1.5 or prepare 1.5 spacing, line spacing, using areas, using between 15 to 2018 to 2000 words, plus or minus, right? That should give you a good a good mix, a good writing strategy to prepare the marketing mix. So you should be able to look at the this LO3 and do a good job of it. Okay, so the LO3 looks the further we went to a part of the second assignment is also look at the LO3, which is to develop and evaluate marketing plan that meets the marketing objectives for an organization. Now here, what you need to do is we need to develop and evaluate. So you need to write up a marketing plan. What does it look like? And then you need to evaluate it according to your marketing objectives. So the objectives are in line with the vision and mission of the objectives. So here, what you could do is preparing an executive summary. For example, you prepare a summary of Aldi or other organization that you have in your scenario that you have within your organization. Okay, you prepare a kind of a small summary of a few 5-10 lines or 2 or 3 paragraphs, for example, and explain what the summary is about. Explain this report focuses on, for example, evaluation of the marketing environment of the company known as Aldi or EE or another telecom company or Tesco's. Okay, or you pick up a company of your own and explain what this company is about, what the environment, and you explain what you're going to do with it to assess the external environment. You're going to use Pastel analysis or Porter's 5 forces model, or to analyze the internal and external value of the organization. You're going to use SWOT analysis and explain, something about the company performance analysis or financial analysis and products it produces, and some of the issues regarding some kind of communication or poor performance, and you highlight this, and then you'll say, okay, this recommends, this report will also recommend some, make some recommendations that have as a research. So you explain about something about what you're going to do and overall summary of the organization. Give a complete overview of the company, what it does, what's the business, has it grown over the years or has it declined over the years, and why does it, and the competitors and the total value of the, what business is it in, explain something over, and you can get this introduction from the company website or from the company introduction or from the director's report. And if it's in the scenario, you get it from the scenario, and put it in your as an introduction into your assignment LO3, and explain how you will tackle it. Then you go on to the write something about the marketing analysis. Okay, so you write something about the internal analysis. You write something what type of factors affect the internal analysis. You explain how does they improve the company plans, how will these affect the company advantage, competitiveness. Internal analysis, you can do some kind of financial analysis, for example, making sure that you compare like with like, or making sure that you compare year with last year to this year, or this year to the last year, and explain, have they gone better or have they gone worse. You can explain some kind of ratios, or total turnover, and give us total value of the assets, and get some kind of financial information, in other words, from year in, year out, and explain what the figures tell us to do. So because of the financial performance, you can see the company has gone bad to worse, or from the strong to stronger this year, and so on. So financial performance can be included in the internal analysis of the marketing internal analysis. You can explain something about value chain analysis. You can explain something about the tool that you're going to use to you can use this tool to judge the relative value of the activities. Okay, you can use this value chain to how it reaches as a marketing aim. How does it reach to the customer? How does this value chain help you help your organization to increase selling point or selling products, or is it a problem, and or is it not adding any value to the marketing or products of the organization? So you explain something about this, right? So you can put some kind of a kind of a picture or a diagram. Okay, make sure that the value chain is shown as a diagram, and you add a little bit comments on the marketing department and so how the value chain affects the organization and how does it. Or you can add another, for example, you can add portfolio analysis. For example, you can do some kind of products, how do they grow, what's their market share, what's their relative growth, what kind of customers have been acquiring this product. So you can explain a little bit data on product portfolio analysis. Then you may be able to produce some kind of SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, internal part of the internal analysis. Okay, so you write that. Then you can explain some kind of external environment when we are doing the external analysis using PESTEL. Okay, so you explain what PESTEL is, how it affects the organization, how it affects your case, right? So you look at that and write something about it. How does the industry, for example, affected by PESTEL, your organization in particular, what does it do, right? So for example, political, how does the political environment, economic environment, social environment, and so on affected your organization? You put some comments on each of these factors, PESTEL, P-E-S-T-L-E, right? Economic factors and social factors, technological factors, legal factors, ecological or environmental factors, all right? So you can explain these PESTEL factors as an external analysis. Then you can also use Porter's 5 forces model to explain the threats of competition. For example, if you're explaining the external analysis, threat of competition, threat of competitors from other industry, from other partners of your organization, from other newcomers or whatever, what type of industry you're in, and explain the external factors. Using these 5 forces model, explain what the 5 forces are and how do they affect you in particular. Threat of competition, threat of new entry, okay, bargaining power of suppliers and buyers, okay, and how the threat of substitutes affects your organization, what you're going to do with it, and how you're going to combat the threat, external threat. Of course, again, look at the company report and look at the company analysis, look at the other factors that are affecting with particular references, with particular backing and data and so on. So you explain this in diagram as well. Okay, so that can be done, okay, using the external. As I said, in your internal analysis, you can put SWOT analysis as well, strengths of your organization, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You explain those, and this will be part of the analysis. Okay, so you got internal analysis and external analysis. Okay, so therefore, then you look at some kind of marketing objectives when you are looking at the LO3, okay, marketing objectives. After so you start with the marketing objectives. What are they? What are your what are your basis of these objectives? What are you focusing on? 3 or 4 objectives should be fine. For example, increase in customer base, for example, or the number of customers, but make sure that you increase in market share. Put them in concrete objectives rather than in general objectives or vague objectives. They should be concrete, they should be specific, they should be SMART objectives. Okay, so you can explain what your objectives are and how you're going to tackle them, how you're going to meet them, i.e. what strategies you're going to use, or make sure that these strategies are in line with your marketing objectives, vision, and mission. Okay, so you explain the strategies. You can explain the type of strategies you're going to use to attract customers, or what you're going to use. Okay, then you can explain something about your segmentation for targeting, positioning, marketing, marketing positioning of your product, and explain who are you targeting, what are your customers, where are they, back it with data, back it with your, analysis, make sure that you reference them. Okay, what's your position of the market? What's your position of the, product? And divide them in a particular quadrant. Is it high end of the market, or low end of the market, or mid range, or it has no position? So you put these into a position of the position analysis and positioning. So you highlight your product where your position of the product is. Okay, marketing control, right? So this is a part of the marketing plan. You can you can do that by drafting activities and checking the processes that the marketing control. In other words, when you implement those, what are the processes, how are you going to correct the problems if you are implementing these ideas, and what are the process of implementing, checking and reviewing. All these you can put some kind of diagrams, and it'll enhance your look of the work, and it'll get you a better grade, because pictures are more important, or pictures are more valuable than the words themselves. Okay, so they give you a kind of an insight. As they say, picture is more than 1,000 words, for example. Okay, so all in all, LO3 is very much a kind of explaining all of the internal analysis, all of the external analysis, compared to the using a different kind of tools, and coming up with different types of strategies to prepare marketing plan. The last part of the marketing plan also includes the what you call them media plan. So the media plan is very important as your strategy. If you are preparing the marketing plan, make sure that the media plan is there as well to support a marketing campaign, for example. So your product is going to be launched, for example, or come onto the market. How are you going to use this marketing plan to create a media plan? So make sure that you look at the kind of a media template, or media kind of a media plan. There are different steps. So what I've done here is to give you kind of a step when you are looking at your organization, when you are preparing your assignment. You can follow these steps, or maybe you can change and follow your own, but make sure this media plan is composed of a marketing campaign. How are you going to get the product known to the customers, right? How are you going to get the customers, how the customers are going to become aware of your products. Okay, so you need to have a media plan. So the first step you have when you are preparing the media plan is you need to introduce, for example, what are your goals? What are your goals and objectives of your media? What type of sales you want? What type of department are you talking about? And how are you going to prepare your objectives of the organization for the campaigns? So sales, who you are targeting, what's your target market? What you're aiming at. So determine your media goals and objectives, right? And these goals should be established. They should be, make sure that you are looking at your trends and marketing competitive, from the competitive angle. What's your, market targets? What your customers like? What your objective? What's your goals? So need to determine what are your media goals. Who are you determining? Who are you targeting? Who are your customers? Who are you going to sell your products to? Okay, so therefore, in order for you to prepare a good media plan, you should have your people in mind, so that you can target your advertisements, you can target your media to focus on your customers. Okay. Second step is to look at the target audience. Okay, so look at the target audience. For example, who are your customers, who are the people you're going to engage, who are your people, what are your audience, what is your ambition, okay, what is your message, okay, what are your types of adverts that you're going to use to attract customers, what's the efficient way of creating the most effective and important channels that you're going to use, okay. So therefore, you need to look at the demographic information, such as the age, such as the location, such as the general interest, such as maybe their income level or the housing level, or what are their interests, what are they, their profession, and so on. So you look at this kind of data you look at this data, and you need to target your audience according to their segmentation, okay, income group and population group or age group or that kind of segment. The third step in preparing a media plan is, for example, is how you're going to reach, okay, how are you going to reach your customers, and the frequency, how many times, for example, how you going to prepare your ad, and how many times you're going to put the ad in a particular channel, so what is your reach, how many people the campaign will be over how long, okay, what is the amount of time you're going to spend on the reach, okay, what's the frequency, i.e. how many times you're going to target the customers, how many exposures you're going to give to the consumer, for example, of a particular advert, okay, of a particular campaign. So there are a few popular approaches that you can take into account, and these will depend on your continuity, for example, continuity of a particular ad, how long they will be running over consistent schedule or inconsistent, or continual or incontinual or whatever, right? Is it seasonal or not seasonal? So continuity is very important, okay? Flightening, okay, flightening refers to the internment or alternating a period of advertising followed by pauses in advertising on particular channels altogether. Flightening works well for seasonal products, for example. So this is very important. For example, when there is a pause in a flighted television campaign, marketers may choose to run print ads instead. So flighting is very important. The third one is the pulsing, okay? So in order to consider frequency, you need a pulsing, which means a combination of flighting and continuity. So the flighting and continuity you can work, and consistent advertising that's augmented by flights of highly interested adverts or whatever. So you need to look at the message, okay, and the additional message that can have a high impact. So you need to look at the steps that you're going to consider by frequency and reach. The third step has been discussed now. The last step when you're preparing a media plan is you need to look at the performance, i.e. return of investment, marketing, how much you have spent, how much return you're getting, what method of return investment are you going to use to calculate whether somebody is giving you, whether the customer is giving you enough return, or whether this particular media has given you media return. Is it worthwhile advertising? Is it worthwhile not advertising? Okay, so you need to keep and monitor. You need to plan a strategy that is consistent, that is check, monitor, track, and analyze the performance on your return on marketing investment. Okay, marketing investments are, return are very important, and you can use this particular approach. For example, set it and forget it. Okay, marketing campaigns are not set it and forget it. Instead, they require ongoing management to drive maximum return on their investment. So this should be taken into consideration, i.e. what return on marketing investment are you getting on your advertising and so on. So are you selecting the right media, and are they working? So you need to make sure that these are giving you enough return. So you need to calculate those returns by marketing spending and the returns on the advertisements. So you need to collect the data online and offline, from the offline channel and online channel. You need to collect the data, and we must use this information to research and goal setting, so the optimal campaign performance can be done on a particular media. For example, you use which type of media you're going to use as a step for. Are you going to use magazines, offline media, for example, magazines or newspapers, or the style of newspapers, or the radio, for example, or TV and cable? What type of out of home media, such as billboards, for example? Are you going to use a busy area for your message, or very where people are not using that? Billboards out of home is also very important when you are using mobile phones, mobile options as well, to advertise displays and make sure that these are planned. So what type of out of home media you're going to use? Okay, online media, for example, digital publications or PPC advertising, or social media are you going to use? For example, what type of social media you're going to use? Platforms, to target particular market, to target particular interest or age or status or social status, or targeting marketing. You can use, programming or programmatic advertising, bidding, real-time bidding, for example, and media planning strategy must be important, to consider new media plans. You keep marketers should keep these in mind, because their online media is, to what extent are they reaching? For example, what's your reach going to be? What type of goals, establishing clear goals? What type of people you're going to engage? What type of brands you're going to advertise? Where are you going to advertise? You should have a clear idea of a clear direction, into which direction are you going. You have to have some kind of test of the effectiveness of your adverts. You need to look at the different type of team building and cooperating and coordinating the model, the marketing exercise as a whole. So the marketing team should be working together in tandem with other departments and into planning your media plan. Okay, so all this LO4 should be a part of the LO3 altogether. So you need to make sure that the media, campaign is geared towards producing your, reaching your objectives in order to sell, or in order to catch particular customers and so. Okay, it must be effective, it must be costly, effective, and give you enough return to make sure that you stay profitable. Then the last, when you've done all these LO 1, 2, 3, and 4, then you conclude the whole assignment and just summarize what did you consider in LO1 and LO2 and LO3. So you explain and summarize in particular. For example, the assignment successfully depicts the role of marketing function in interrelationship of other organizational and considered marketing mix, is considered marketing plan, it's considered marketing strategy, and so on. Then the last of this section should be with the references, with particular Harvard style referencing, and make sure that these referencing are up to date and are latest, try and include the latest information and latest references rather than old references. Okay, so if you are using journals, if you are using books, if you are using websites, make sure that you write the websites with the access dates, and make sure that the websites are www.so-and-so access on particular date, so it's quite visible. Okay, and the author's address when you're using the books, journals, they should be written in authors and followed by publication date and so on. Okay, so using the Harvard style. So what we've done today is we looked at all the learning outcomes in detail, Your assignment dates are on the assignment itself. I hope you must read these assignments, and you must make sure that you understand. If you have any questions, please ask before you attempt, or drop me a line, and make sure that you understand, and make sure that you deliver your assignment in time, please. Otherwise, if you are not delivering, then you are not really following a plan of teaching and plan of your education. So it's very important that you, when you done an assignment, make sure that you submit a marking so that you can get it checked, get a feedback, get a qualification by the end of the completion of your assignment, and all the assignment must be done in time. Okay, so thank you for joining, and I look forward to your assignments in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much indeed. Have a good day. Bye-bye.